Okay, fantastic. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are Team 2 and we'll quickly introduce ourselves before we start. I'm Zander Terblanche and I'm currently an honor student at UP.
So I'm Carl. I'm doing computer engineering at Tux, second year.
I'm Gabriel Tidy. I'm doing third year computer science honors. Computer science third year at FITS. Sorry.
Awesome. Okay, with that we can begin with the problem that was presented to us. So basically BBD is too amazing and every year they get a lot of applications and they needed a way to effectively, sift through these applications in order to, decide who gets the bursary and who gets not. And it might seem like a pretty straightforward problem at first, but if you start considering the fact like, not everyone had the opportunity to learn code yet, by not hiring those people, BBD might miss the opportunity to effectively hire the next Lucky or next Tony. So it really, well, as you can see, it really is a problem that's worth considering. And that brings us to our solution to this problem. So just a quick overview of how we solved it on a theoretical level is we assessed the applicant's current potential and future coding skills using an abstracted and easy to pick up gamified coding test. Now that might sound like a mouthful now, but when we go to the live demo, you'll see that it's actually pretty easy to play and pretty straightforward. Essentially, the applicant must provide a chicken with a set of instructions to make it cross the road. And each time it reaches the other side of the road, it will go to a next level and that will effectively increase in difficulty as well. And then finally, the applicant scores are measured by the complexity and efficiency of their solutions. Okay, and like I mentioned, the non-coders, since the game is abstracted from a normal coding language and it uses a drag and drop functionality, you really don't need to know any code or any syntax. You just need to understand basic English in order to build a proper solution to get the chicken to cross the road. Essentially, that would test your logical and your critical thinking, which we deemed a fair way to, decide what applicants should, proceed with the bursary and so forth. Okay, just a little bit of information about the game. Like I mentioned, the applicants interact with the game by building a solution of blocks, and essentially they do that by dragging and dropping. And yeah, I think without any further ado, let's jump into the live demo and you can see this in action. And for that, I'll hand over to Gabe.
Okay, so here you can see our game board. In the middle, you have the road and our super buff chicken, because everyone wants to be a buff chicken. On the left, you can see the toolbox. These have all the different coding blocks that users can choose. On the right, you can see the solution block. This is where these two move forwards are. And so this is basically the algorithm or the set of instructions that the users are providing to the chicken. So we can see here, we run this sample two move forwards. The chicken takes his two move forwards as the cars go on their predefined routes. And then if you try to run the solution again, you can see the game resets. And that's because we want to ensure that users use the same algorithm starting from the top each time, and they don't effectively cheat. Yeah. So let's put a bunch of move forwards in there just to see what will happen. Oh, there's a mouse here, sorry. All right, so as the chicken attempts to move forward, he will crash into this car or this block as it appears now. And as such, the game will end and the user will reset and they'll have to create a new solution. So the point of the game is to make it through currently 2 levels with the same algorithm and determine your score based on that. So in order to pass this first level, what we can simply do is add a move left. And then this should work, I believe. Never mind, it was 2 left. That's my mistake. And you can see here, this solution will... There's some timing issues. You can see, this is basically the process that applicants will follow. So you can see it's quite intuitive. You can see where you're going wrong.
One short.
Wow.
One short.
So it's very easy to debug solutions, as you can see. And you can see we've successfully completed level 1 and we're taken to level 2. So now what we can do is not use the same solution because it'll reset us to level 1. Because basically they need to use the same algorithm to pass both levels. So it needs to be some way automated. They can't just use raw conditions like this. And how they do that is using these other coding blocks, the ifs, the whiles, and so on. So for example, when they use an if block, it appears like this. It has an empty conditional, and in there they can add a true or a false that's raw, or they can add any of these conditionals. These closest in front determine the direction of the closest car towards the player. So they can check in front, behind, to the left, and to the right. Or they can use the car really close conditional, which will check if there's a car basically in the immediate radius around the chicken. And basically using a combination of those and the while block, they can construct a solution that should be able to automatically complete both levels. So let's give that a shot, I suppose. So let's try with the... Yeah.
It's very challenging.
So a simple solution that users can try is just checking, well, first having an infinite loop, so it runs throughout all the levels, and then checking whether the direction of the closest car is directly in front of the player, and then if the car is right in front of them, and if those are both the case, then the player will simply wait, and in all other cases, they will move forward. So this is probably one of the most simple solutions that they can make. But unfortunately, it won't be enough because it does not include any checks to the side of the player. So they will have to use a combination of these ifs and else to try and, if I can aim it correctly, to try and basically build a whole algorithm to get the chicken across the road successfully.